When I was young, I saw your picture. You were my cool, calm dreamboat. The moonlight shined so many times before we could finally be together. Now you're here, a lifetime later, my veiled and discreet muse. You're real, I know it, but you're too uncertain for probing view. Sphere after sphere of your influence is charted, the ambiguity of your form and the promise of your embrace. Faster than lightning overhead and moving from left and right, crude arches and leaning towers taunt desire by turning in on you. With each passing block you vanish, with no promise that you'll return. I want you with me forever, like the Hokusai print that I have on my wall. No more than that. On each bright morning at the break of day, I want you to wake to discovery that I am lying asleep on your soft hills. Will your hazy profile prove false? Your secrets you might veil from me and keep my keen desire. It may come to naught, hidden and disguised in your blue. I pray the train will take me closer than the vague mists won't hide you. I want to get off and travel by foot. This quick glimpse leaves me forlorn. Your form is now a constant blur, and wires like blades cut my view. I fear the chance won't come again to capture your epic contours. Hikers love your seductive crown, eagerly scaling your rugged slopes, but they go home when the day ends, lost in goals other than climbing. You sweetly transmit the promised enchantment with your minuscule cap, that vague white that promises I'll soon be encircled by your wings. I know the embrace will bloom, that it will reverberate in me and create a motive for my love songs, which my heart will sing forever. I won't bottle you up, I won't intrude or live in your crown for days on end. I'm not the neighbour with designs to obscure your view or steal your sight. But I want to flatten these dull buildings, their meagre claim on life a chilling fake. It's warmth I need and your true strength, your grit, your guts and your fiery core. You, the enduring champion, scatter deposits of devotion over the rooftops and drift on, your wrinkled crown confident. Like the ocean steering a poised wave onto an enthusiastic beach, confirming I have something more ahead of me than I thought. I'll make paper boats with letters of love and send them on streams to the sea. Distant sailors might now be shocked to learn that such devotion still exists. The city dwellers forced to leave will never open their windows wide to greet you, and like so many workers, their heads down, they'll forget what it's like to talk to your summit. Here's the myth with the bridge of dreams. Just when my fire was about to go out, you appear in perfect balance to prove the reputation of your beauty is true. You're my barometer of promised pleasure, my lifeboat when I'm utterly lost at sea. I'm spellbound by your fan-shaped white, your flat-topped thrill with a plinth of frills. What? Must I move now into black clouds where I cannot recognize your form? You're my goddess. Must I count myself lucky that a second was granted to gaze? I'll not be passive victim to passing dark clouds, walls of fog or any vessel for instant obscurity, intent on wiping out my endless dedications to your honourable beauty in this sporting landscape. I fall to my knees and pray, lest I forget that your grace and memory is stored in my every cell. Once again you arrive fresh to take my breath away. Only you could be fought for, idealized and adored. You halt the river in full flow, and I'm hypnotized and charmed by your elegant fan-shaped whiteness, by your curves like an impossibly gentle touch that strokes my eyebrows because I can see you. Keep the mist back, take command of the light, breathe it, blow it, inhale and exhale it far away. I'll wade past these fields to be with you in clear space where verdant green offsets your fine tones. In the gap between blue and green all is possible, so I'll erase greys to verify your lively compliments. So much learnt and still they get the sum wrong. You'll be my last love, my lost love, my best love. Those white facades are a slight disruption, but I've no appetite for blasting away the present, for making emptiness the ground we build on, or making songs of gratitude from the silent air. I'm not seeking perfection or a dream too eager. It wasn't pure space that brought you into existence. It was a volcanic eruption, the kind of great molten explosion that appears to be the start of everything. This talk of youthful temper is suspect, my precious. See how objects jealously fight for the attention when I pay tribute to your delights. You dominate with charm, but if I blink, the accidents soon seek to obliterate you. What is it about your purity that is so appealing? Is it your skin so white against the blue that puts our attempts at producing beauty to shame, and by comparison makes nothing of our burnt-out ideas? Enough of this poetic eulogy. Love cannot remain in a shower of sweet-scented words forever, and this is love, make no bones about it. I've fallen in love with a mountain over a wall. There will always be someone to photograph you. You'll be standing long after my praises stop. Could my hopeless yearning expire in the skies before this, like fading echoes on distant peaks? What a beauty! In the beginning, your absence and your distance made my yearning empty. There's nothing new in our position. We have lived apart forever, and now we are together. My youth and old age live in you. Neither can claim they're the reason. Mountain water flows like a running child, and the blossoms of the cherry tree keep their colour in old age. Another prized image captured, and still I linger, lovingly drinking in memory before it dies. Do the people here dream and neglect their dull gardens that provide no welcome to butterflies? There are sweet melodies that join our spirit. I hear it in the paper as I write these poems. In this beautiful spring light I have you in me, and after this I'll walk and listen to birdsong. Sleep is quite hopeless. I'm the paparazzi standing stock still with a camera for eyes, haunted by missing out, a road without rest, searching for images before final goodbyes. Intense is the focus, past the dull houses, lost in the reverie I fantasize. Leaving no traces behind the grey fences, I cherish your dream in the distant skies. The wall drives me mad, tortures me, yet it keeps the constant higgledy-piggledy at bay. Afterwards we'll talk, and whichever way we look at it, we must promise to talk forever. Big decisions always need to be made, and the crucial issue is not to be overwhelmed by resolution. You have taught me well what it is to be an ambassador to intimate feelings. You've brought out my sensitivity and given it an airing. You've visualized spatial dreams in an artful narrative and put some flesh on the bones of the vaguest of my ambiguous intuitions. This nebulous fuss is an attractive invitation, a beautiful smile over the grimace of the fence. Sitting on the threshold, I can only question if I will dedicate my life to interpreting these dreams. Will you speak for truths that inhabit our shared territory? Will it keep me this side of madness and help me move on? Is this thing between us essential, like breathing? You've had admirers before, but not in places where telegraph poles demand imagination's possibilities by intruding at every opportunity. Now I must progress without passions at the helm. I'll try to keep your poetic form alive even as you are under threat, your energies exploited. It's a modest role, finding a place where reveries can thrive. But if we're lucky, if flukes follow passions, we'll win. Looking for love's expression through wires and giving those things crying out to be seen a place to thrive beyond the invasive fences is made possible because you rise up so magnificently on the horizon. Knowing and rejoicing that you are loved is the best one can hope for, but it's no easy assignment, navigating one's way past workshops that can't be predicted and where intuition is the major player. I keep clicking, for it's the attitude that influences our possibilities, and we always have more options than we can premeditate or predict. I remain here on the threshold of your dear company, speculating. Letting off steam is the place that precedes reflection and choice. We can't always decide on the direction. We must let the train carry us tenderly along, meditate on transitions, and accept what chimneys will decide. Among this physical collection of industry that appears to have been thrown together haphazardly, you need the poet and the artist to bring the possibilities to life. Places in need of care can often keep our spirits up. We do not linger, we dance through. We want to learn more, and you are the finest teacher. Your talk being the best example of the way we teach ourselves about the complex and intriguing, intense and poetic decisions. You've always been a tutor for spirits like ours, teaching us how we can begin to accept the hard knocks of a journey and help others to navigate the road. Train us to keep our tops flat and yet not miss the point. Even through the jutting pylons we bathe in the delightful dream-filled world of possibilities and bask in the lightness and brightness your crown brings. It is in this way that worn-out theories pass. This is the beginning, and beginnings are for the brave, curious and open-hearted travellers. You let these qualities grow, knowing that beginnings are enjoyed by confident optimists, and the timid, hesitant ones in equal measure. I hit the side of the shed hard and it's bewildering. Is this good for me? Must I learn how to sell my dexterity and buy confusion? Must I trust that my bones can select, organize, explore and connect? One glance at you is like taking a metaphorical shower. Your caring tenderness brings me back to life. It's easy. You just invite the water to wash clean my burdened thoughts and aesthetic prejudices, and I'm new, intact. Oh, how very cheeky that little Gable is to insert himself into our hazy encyclopedia by imitating your form and performing in front of you. He even uses your mysterious tones, hoping we'll embrace him. Sadly, he imagined he could smooth out your varied surface, not realizing that I intuitively anticipate and search for the splendor of your fine cragginess. I love it that my days hum with tucks and gatherings. As the saga continues, my desire for additional reverie heats up, revolving the minutes as I continue to flank your spirit and again reaffirm my commitment to protect you from intrusion. In ancient times, they learned to honour the need for this kind of emotion, to draw themselves up on it as they orbited the rush and billow of fantasy, trusting the deep was theirs for the benefit of all. Each horizon inspires potential. Fresh revelations momentarily hijack the heavens and hurl flashes that make me gulp air. Like emotionally charged hands, each shift caresses as it touches, each inspired feeling magnifies itself. You restore my reactions to passion. Sentiments that have been snoozing beneath the earth, avoiding cultivation, are now twisting daybreak back to front. Sensitivity, mood, sentiment, they all point towards you, embracing resolution in concert. The roofs and chimneys know it. Fervor's dream, flying this way and that into the distance, will verify your outlines past the invasions of signs, making graphic intrusions disappear. If I sense the reverie sliding, I'd be in danger of extinction. But when it's dark and the metropolis has gone to bed, I'll tell your tale from my night sanctuary. If I'm distracted from your poise by a railway track, I must reassemble and adjust my line of vision. No words of comfort can rescue me from the conflict. The lines do not touch my obsession, and my zeal does not suddenly vanish, leaving only a trivial feast. I desert the straight lines, and they confront each other. I see serenity above the busy invasion of grey, industry that uses its chaotic fixation to hurl a snail-like profile before your pretty silhouette. Such tricks do not hinder my visual glide ahead. My ardour edges along in the shadows beyond, your pulse and mood beckoning my spirit, your ambience more tranquil than I had envisaged. This is no time for me to turn back on myself. March on with conflict. This was the old way out when corporate fatality ruled, but it's a debt that never paid off. Even now your calm and tranquil delights, your pledges and appeals win the contest. You, the lasting victor of height, spread accumulations of affection over the ridge and smile, your craggy top, the beginning of an assured glide into many animated prospects, proving I have something to look forward to. I allow my gaze to explore love, and all the cursors converge on solemnity. Here devotion, passion, fidelity and zest, your feast of virtues, makes a collage of your lovable shades and lights the heavens. Consider our world, the excited suburb, how it takes us into temporary stage sets, into glee and pleasure, where we hope to find a shared fulfillment, until finally realizing how rare this is beneath your pure firmament. Observe the graphic gaze, the one that thinks it can blend with the angels quicker than a cherub. Intent on animating secret codes in a web of intrigue, it attempts to obscure, not knowing how we move beyond. Time after time your authority is displayed in the elusiveness of your profile, the hug that is more direct now than an arrow, from absence to presence, despite the crude graphic desires of red fascias. I watch your waves break on the community while staring loftily through the wires, my eyes gaping, coursing for the flames at your core, those energies that rise out of your crimson beginnings. You broadcast the pledge of charisma, and I'm enclosed by your wings. The embrace prospers and resounds to create blueprints for sonnets that my heart will remarry over and over again. By making you a backdrop, they drive me crazy, and rage must start to play with my emotional sensations. But without miracle or fuss, radiance springs off you, as if decisively as the faultless love I've been hoping for. Your presence plunges and plummets me into the calm over the tempest, over the apathy and coldness of those concerns coming from a realm I've been running from, a world that strolls me back to, yet away from myself. Shearing into extremes, your prime delights reach back to earlier days and confront an eager zealousness covering the ground, turning the smoke into your dancing attendant clouds. Change isn't one way in this quick-eyed adventure. Who influences the terrain between earth and sky is never certain. Sometimes, splashing across the flat roofs, we find passions of the sweet sky reflected there. Love sits sublime on the horizon, harnessing an index of randomness. You create an order I have yearned for, and you signal where I can land. Speaking cadences in the corners of your heart, you invite us to live in the house of sensations, where everything is translated and arranged to bring out our vim and vigour. Every gable is a veiled peril, yet you harness the riddle and move on, teaching us how to gather our mirth and keep ourselves sturdy. Your spirit does not burn ardour. Your blaze is not eaten up by the muddle. You simply evoke times before cynics were invited to act. The wires no longer irritate me, and as adoration soars, you show me how to strum sensations on the strings like a cello, playing sweet filigree chords of resonance. Now that I'm an explorer inside love, you show me the clash between passion and precision, and how to make sparks that glow, how devotion flows, trickles by, and teases. Love is a constant feverish blue, punctured by the customary darts. But now the chimneys have learned how to draw clouds of revelations that transfer the prizes across the sky to you. This landscape is distinguished and renowned, and the broad green foreground has prepared a harvest of its own charismatic pasture for you. Now the love barbs know their true destination. On this bountiful tour, I am the explorer, studying commitment's mantra, which helps me to empty my skull of bleak orbits and embrace the top of your curative melodies. Silent fervour and a loud infatuation mix up my zeal, craze and delight as I arrange the lower components peacefully, and you inspire me to eulogize your flattened apex. The shrinking city intensifies, resonates and liberates your commanding orientation. Silence surges back, elucidating my interest, increasing my enchantment. The green parade ground a pageant in your honour. Untamed fears might sieve wavering emotions, but if dedication could disentangle the passions, detonating them in explosions of light and sound, then the echo of your vibrations will not remain in the dark forever. The horizontal equilibrium overlaps you. It does not hide you, but it increases my angst. Ultimately, there must be a computation between the guiltless and their effect, and it's likely that you could act as the arbiter. If I cannot determine who's been rewarded or what remains unsettled between you and the competing horizons, then I must not ascribe my failure to fate. I must pick myself up and begin to see you afresh. There you are, glowing bright at the right moment. Maybe you're the one to elect who can gaze, you who can look into the unprejudiced hearts of those who were hauled ashore by petulant waves. Among this line of countless green plants, flames are diminished, but your base is confirmed. It has taken the gentle padding of millions of kind feet to flatten these fields and smooth the way for your rise. I am a spectator positioned against the glass, alert to distant scenery that might heal my endless frailty. The eye's ample shifts are relentless, but your clarity prevents attention wandering towards blurred pylons. Being equal to the task of pacifying multiple shifts, the commotions in your path create a foundation, making the fence a platform to spring from, and the tattered eyebrow of wires a hazy, delicate and sallow friend. Sometimes, even in straight lines, fractures can impel my blistering passions to take the lead again, urging me to stand tall and peep within myself. My eye clasps the mood. Love saunters here without a sound. The vibrant convoy of tea plants guides me to my resting place, as though carrying me on a muted wheels. This suburb can't move in orderly rows. It coils and jerks with multiple interruptions, continually pushing itself forward while my conviction waits to be yanked over the ridge. All existence is here, mixing memory with desire, the mergers, the amorous beginnings, the gatherings, and the unearthly new vigour, which like a blossom dances here before you. Now I must allow myself to trust in love like colour, the way it targets the eyes, indulges a prickly outlook and suddenly hurls one unexpected into every mountain. These interactions, which for an instant or two I wobbled over before gaining my poise, have taught me to recognise that my feet have returned to earth and you have reconstructed me. Like a scholar with a dunce's cap, I prepared myself for a dispute with other mountains who display their grandeur aggressively while speculating when the hostilities will start. As you depart, I must remember my connection and confirm that my yearning and aspirations were clearly opened out here in a remarkably new fashion, like sounds that are visible, not audible. Explorers lug their belongings after them, but I travelled to your crown empty-handed, navigating my passage across your flanks under the gaze of a glowing blue heaven. Travelling like a shaman was pledged generations before this, and they probably expressed the future in a dialect of fantasy, calculated entirely by intimate yearning.